Let's build a junk journal. Hello and welcome to the treasured page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And this is for Build a Journal. So Build a Journal came about by making a signature keeper, making papers that we dyed and coffee stained, and then we embarked on some of the projects, which were, the first project was to make a pocket, and then this is the center of the signature, and when we've finally bound it in, we then seal this shut and this hides the binding. So on the playlist we've had a pull-out tri-fold, so that comes out like that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that, from Joanna. So everything that's been sent to me has been sent by swap partners around the UK. So everything here is from other people that I have combined and put together using the things that they've sent me and the projects that have been set, such as this house project, which was really good. And then we did these lovely page wraps, which was a cluster, and then it wrapped around the page to give you another tuck point. Then we made these sun catchers, and the more up-to-date one is the Popup Pocket. This is my Popup Pocket, and if you haven't seen how to do the Popup Pockets, then do please have a look at the playlist. That is this month's project for October. So that was August, September and October projects. So if you want to check out any of these projects, do please have a look in the playlist. And if you're just tuning in and you'd like to have a go at building a journal, or certainly building a signature just to start you off, then just have a look at the projects and have a little go, because what you will be able to do is stick down the final project on a page, and then you will be able to build a journal with these most interactive, interesting pieces, and it'll all come alive. So these are journals that are interactive and have hidden writing space, and we just go about embellishing them as we see fit and just having a little play. It's just a place where you can come and have a little play. So here are all the things that I've been sent, all the little book pages, ephemera pieces, things that I might like to use in the journal and will definitely be pulling in at a later date. I've just started to go through it and I'm having a look at anything that I think might benefit from a tea stain. So I'm pulling out anything that perhaps has a white background on the other side, so I'm taking that out. So this journal is starting to take on a more nostalgic woodland feel and certainly nature, and I think that it lends itself to a darker palette of the antiqued browns. This is going to be my fourth signature. More signature pages here, and so we'll have something like that on a page in the autumn or fall and winter portion of the journal. So this one I have made a little bit more brown and grunge. See, even that, something like that would just look really good on a darker background. I've managed to put together 4 potential signatures that will end up being bound into the first part of my journal, and I'm just sort of working out how that might be. Definitely picking up anything that wants to go and have a tea stain so that it can come and match what's going on here for autumn and fall. This is from Jeanette, who sent this to me, Britain in Colour, and in here are lots of lovely pictures that you could potentially colour in yourself, and I've been playing around with the pages thinking how could I do some interactive interesting folds, and maybe that bit gets sewn in and then this is the bit you see. So I've been working out things like that, but I think that this could do with a tea stain and just maybe mute it down and age it. So that's the idea with that. I'm going to make them slightly smaller so that they will fit with the other pages. They are a little bit big, so I should be taking about ½ an inch, centimetre off top and bottom. Then I've been left with this flexible cardstock, so I was thinking this could potentially be my cover for a soft journal. I'm thinking a soft cover journal because I think that's what I'm going to have, and I thought I could turn those in and then do something to create pockets. So definitely going to be using this as a substrate, That's fantastic. So we are trying to make our front covers out of whatever we have got, and if that means the packaging that certain parcels arrived in, then we'll have to do that. So I am only allowed to use what I've been sent. That is my challenge here. There's these beautiful flower images here, but again I've got this white page here, so I just want to bring in some aging. I think that's beautiful, but I think I'd like it if it was more antique. This one's fine, so this is already looking very old, so we'll take away that because this is what I'm aiming for something like this to-do list. So we will put that in the pile. A journaling card, again I just want to lightly tea stain the back of it, and it's just straightforward to shove it all in the tea. This is going to be part of this signature that's coming together here. I really like this. I've been separating that out, so I think I'm going to stick that on there. Something like that. I might tea stain that yellow one just to bring out the yellow turmeric that's been used on this one by Cheryl. And then bringing up the box of things that I'm only allowed to use, I've already been through some of the Stranger Things, which I think are tea bags. And I'm going to bring all of these things out because these are things that I also want to put through a tea bath, and also these bags, postcards and anything commercial, all this sort of stuff. And that's an envelope, and then these might look fun. This will potentially fall apart, so I'll have to be a bit careful with that. I've been given these. Let's just tea stain away, tea stain everything. And then I've got fabric. Yes, why not? And then this, and then this, these pieces, this. I think this is just wanting something extra. And then I've got some digital kits here, and I think they'll benefit from some tea stain on the back. And then that takes me back to the box of bits, and I think that sorts a lot of problems out. I think it's too modern looking, and so I'm going to age it with the tea. So everything is going to be dunked in tea and let to dry. Just give me more to play with that will work within the colour tone and aesthetic, the vibe that I've got going on for this junk journal. Okay, so everything in this pile has been tea stained and altered in some way. And then let's just have a quick look at what we've now ended up with here. So I really love this card. This was white on the back, and it was a very pale pink, very white, but we've now got a little bit of grunge, a little bit of aging, and you can see we've got a dusty rose colour here, so I think that that is really good. It's quite a strong, thick card, and it's still a little bit damp, so I'm going to flatten that under some books. These didn't seem to dye very well because I think there's a plastic coating and they are stickers, so they didn't work out. These are the tea bags, and again they are made a bit with plastic, so they are not reacting brilliantly with a tea stain. However, I did think that this was quite a nice idea to maybe put these little vellum squares, which I did put some tea on. So that's an idea. I've then got this, which there are 3 of these, and they're die cuts, and I thought that that looks really nice as a label, maybe a hole punch and something, some stamping on there, so I thought that would be fun. I've kept some scrap pieces here to make some clusters, so they came off of the drawing pages. Again, this went a little bit well, it disintegrated. I left it in the dye bath a bit too long and then manhandled it into the oven. So that's been baked. So these have been tea stained, and they are going to become pages in the journal interspersed throughout. So we'll get some nice images and some interesting paper folding ideas. I think I'll play with that. So that is all of those pages. Really pleased with those. I put some more tea on this turmeric paper, and that's now a nice even tone, but still retained that beautiful yellow. So this is the difference. We've now got a bit more of a mellow colour here, so I like the contrast of those 2 pages. This was tea stained, so it's now a slightly darker brown. It was a very pale pastel peach pink, and it is now more in keeping with what I want to achieve for the journal. So I think that that could become something at the beginning of another signature, perhaps. All of these little tickets, they haven't really altered them that much, these commercial papers, but what it has done is change the texture and the feel. So having the water damage, if you like, has made them more interesting to touch, so I quite like that. And then these die cuts have now got a bit of a warp to them, which I like. I find that interesting. Now these tea bags, again, I think that something like that might look quite fun, and I could do a little tea bag dangle off the side, maybe, lots of ideas. And then these bags have come out really nice vintage looking bags, ready for decorating and having something in them. Got a really excellent crinkle now that they have been soaked in the tea, just in water in general will do that. And then I put these in the oven just to bake them and really maximise on that crunch. Then this is a magazine sheet, so I'm going to lose this bit and just focus on that. That's going to give me a colour and a texture for collage. And then these I think are really lovely, and what I think I will do, they've all been aged with the tea, is I'm going to tear this one. I'll need to ink around, but this is going to become a page like that, come over a bit more. As I'm seeing it, I will start to make the pages. So that is another page, I'm going to put that up there. So that is going to be a scrap piece to think about, and get 2 pages out of this one and do a similar thing. And then that bit's interesting, and that bit's very lovely. So same again here. And if I bring this right over, and then we'll ink around. I might even do a rough tear along there, and then I've got that, so that if it's in a page you will see that. That's brilliant. And then on the other side we'll have a root. If you've got packs of these things, or you've ordered them from overseas, then they do come up quite nicely when you damage them a bit with the water, particularly if you then go and heat treat them, bake them, or even run an iron over the top. I've got this music paper now, so that's got some folds in it to be something interesting in a page. That's a bit of scrap to play with. This came out really nice. Actually looks a bit more like a photograph now with the texture that's been created by the water on it, and also we've got some bubbling up here. Again, I think that's quite nice, so do something with that. This I damaged deliberately. It didn't come out like that, but I have been pulling it apart. It's actually, if I take that out, you can see that this has, I ran a really hot iron over it to see if I could get a bubbling effect, and it's worked. I don't know if that's showing, but sorry about the glare, but it actually does look really like a very, very old photograph now, one that's been through all sorts and a bit damaged, so I like that. Then this, I have pulled it apart, it's just so thick, so I'm removing this very thick card and just having this, and then I think he'll probably come and live in here or something. I will have to cut it down a bit at the bottom so I can frame him if we're going to have him in there. That wants to be inked and distressed a bit further, so that's a nice idea. Lots of labels, they've all come out really nice. So I've taken away the bright white and we've now got this anti-aging effect, and I think I prefer them this way, so that I can decorate them and do things like that. Lovely tag, I like that. And again, I'm going to ink all around and distress that even further. These have taken on a warmer tone, more aged effect. This is a ledger that has now had sort of water damage. It looks like it's really got wet in the rain and some aging spots, so that's quite interesting now. And this one had biro on it, so I think that just adding a little bit more texture, that's obviously going to decorate that. We've got some tags here, so maybe a little pocket, another one of those cards. It just looks really, really fun the way that that's come out. That looks really old to me, as if that's come out of somebody's drawer that they've had for years and years. And again, all these pieces, so these are all the pieces, that's the backing, so it's actually a very nice paper, but if we turn it over it's still very modern and commercial stuff. But I can do something with the paper. They can all be collage, they can go into clusters, so there's some options now. And then this was the to-do list, so I think that can come and live in the journal, decorate up, pocket and writing space. It's really fun to discover how different papers react to your dye, your tea stain, your ink, whatever it is you want to apply. It's actually more porous on one side of this paper than it is there. So I've got two different effects and it's really cool. I've got this, which just looks sort of grungy, so that's cool. Then this lovely grungy paper, given me lots of colours here because I tea stained one of the seed packets. So I've got another one and I'll use the seed packets, but I didn't feel that I needed 4. So what I've done is try to blur the ink, which has worked successfully, and then that's given me interesting colours to be able to tear as a tear sheet for collage. And then this is the fabric, so that's the other seed packet, so I've got 2 there. Oh, and then I did the same here with this digital kit, so I have stained it. But what I liked about this is watercoloured toadstools from Tracy Fox, but I've blurred the images so it actually looks a little bit more like it is watercolour. So I like those 3. That one didn't work out so well, but it's a really cool effect. And it's come through on the back. So I will use the 3 toadstools there, and then this is the fabric, so it is now gone to a tea stain brown instead of a bright white. Absolutely nothing wrong with white, but I am now looking to do something in a browner tone and then bringing in these interesting fines. So hopefully that will all come together and look quite nice. We've got some swatches here to play with and all the scraps, and this didn't take too well because it is perhaps a poly cotton. It's just taken off that edge of that brand new fresh commercial modern day and all the things that I like to escape from. So that's why everything has been aged, so that I can go to a different time and place when I have a good play with all of this. So that's what I'm up to. So we can now start to play about with some of these ideas and see if we can't just bring some of this journal alive as we build up the pages. So there's an idea. Just by layering it, we've then got this, which will flip out, collaging, perhaps some writing paper in there, just some nice ideas. And let's have a look at the yellow, also nice. And again, I can trim that down if I want to, but these are potential ways to play around and see what works, whether this could be a pocket, perhaps that would move down, bend round a page, and then something else could hinge onto that. So this is one idea of how you can turn your scraps and papers into something that you can really use, collage with, and have some fun with. The textures have been altered, everything feels more crinkly, more interesting. Lots of different papers react differently, and it's really fun to find out what colours you get, and sometimes colours bleed onto other papers and create interesting patterns, so it is really interesting to see what you can get. So if you're looking for some free ink, you can have a look at any digital kits that you have that may have been printed, and then the ink will bleed when you put on a tea stain or you put on water, and you will be able to get a transference of colour onto other papers so that you have a nice base for some other collage work, or even just a plain piece of paper. If you want to put something down with an interesting background, you've now got some texture on some paper. It didn't cost you a thing, it was just already sitting there in your craft room, not being used. Perhaps you've got like me, several digital kits that you've printed out and your ink was just running out in the printer, so you've got the digital images but they're not as strong as they could be, so you have got these scraps that are lying around. Well, there you go, have a go at tea staining them and seeing if you can get the colours to bleed onto other pieces of paper, and look at the scraps that you can create and the interesting textures and colours, images that will transfer over onto other pieces of paper. It's a free, fun way of trying to colour your papers. So I'm going to go away now and have a little go at trying to make some more of my signatures and see if I can't get on top of this builder journal, and I will report back with my progress. But that is a good idea of how you can start looking at your scraps, alter them and see if you can make them work into your project. So if you would like to get on with staining and dyeing scraps of things that you have lying around the craft room, then obviously that is going to be fun to add to your journal. So thank you so much for watching this quick update. I will be back with you very soon and we will continue to build our journals. So keep an eye out on how you can dye your papers and make them more your own. Have a go at these ideas, and we will continue building our journals with the next project coming up in the 1st of November. So above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.